Hey everybody, this is Dave and we're out here at the hive and I'm actually putting on mite treatments today. It's Easter weekend and it's chilly, not freezing cold, but certainly not warm, and overcast. The bees so far, this is my third hive, and the bees so far have been quite angry, quite aggressive. This time of year they're aggressively searching for food. They've run out of most of their stores, and the cool weather keeps them in the hive, so you have more bees to deal with, as well as it does make them more aggressive, and the overcast as well, same thing, keeps the bees more in the hive and they tend to be more aggressive. So I've just opened up, this is my smallest hive, and I thought I'd just share with you because I thought maybe it'd be the easiest way to see stuff. The first thing you want to notice is I had put some feed on this hive because it was very low. So these were two, you have to go back and look at one of my earlier videos, but two sugar fondant cakes, each about that big around, made in a muffin tin, so about as big as a muffin. And they were put in here 2 weeks ago. We can see that the bees have pretty well cleaned them out, taken care of it. So I'm going to take this off because I don't want all that debris to fall down in the hive. We'll drop it off to the side, and I'm sure that among 4 hives of bees somebody will make quick use of it. So I'm just scraping all this extra comb off the top. Now I put a honey super on this hive, but this was one of my smallest hives. I really did not expect this early in the season to see a whole lot of action up here, and it really looks like, other than them having been coming up through the box in order to eat the feed, that there's really been any sort of action up here. So if I show you, I'm going to pull this one frame out right out of the middle here. So this is an old frame from last year. You can see it was partially drawn out. The comb has been. There's some bees hanging around on the bottom, mainly because they're in the box below. And that's about it. They really have not come up into this box at all. So with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and just straight pop this box right off. As soon as I find somewhere where they haven't gummed it shut. There we go. Okay, we're going to set those bees aside. You can see, maybe you can't. Let me try and lean you in here. So this is the upper brood box. I put this on last time several weeks ago as well. And you can see they've only occupied both sides about 3 frames. So there's absolutely no need, maybe 3.5. So there's absolutely no need for any more space to be currently added on for these bees. They've got plenty of space right now, and too much space can actually cause them to basically like have too much space to defend, too much space to heat, and it can hurt the hive, especially here in the early going. So what I'm going to do is we're going to pull these out. We're going to look for a queen, and then we're going to put some hop treatment on, and we're going to put a queen guard on, so a queen excluder. So stick with me, and that's what we're going to do. All right, we're back. I think I got the camera better adjusted this time. And what we're going to do is I'm going to pull some frames out of here, and I'm going to take a quick cursory look for the queen. You can see that hasn't even been drawn out yet. Got some bees sort of kind of interested in it, but not really. So we're going to go ahead and pull that out. Now if we get here in the middle of this upper brood box, we may find some brood in here. Let's see here. So what we've got mostly is looks like they've been filling that with honey, with nectar, on its way to bee honey. You can see, if you can see that glistening in the cells, that is nectar that the bees are putting in there. Most of this Most of this frame is drawn out. It's got a little bit around the edges that aren't, but they've still got quite a bit of work there to do. This is the smallest hive I have. They made it through the winter, but they struggled. But then I had several hives that didn't make it, so I guess they did better than those. And what we're going to do here is try to get them off, all of them off to a good start. I suspect, ooh, this frame is really gummed in there. Ooh. Yep, a lot of drone comb on the bottom. So, there's what I look at. I'm looking to see whether I have frames of brood or whether I have resource. This one is resource, but now I broke them all open, but at the bottom there's a ton of drone comb. You can see there's still some that's not broke open. The queen's laying that right now. They lay that in a lot of that in the spring. In case they decide they want to swarm, the new queen will have drones to mate with, and they do lay a ton of it. Other than mating, the drones don't, in most people's opinion, provide a lot for the hive. They don't sting, they don't protect, they don't do any of the jobs that are around the house, so to speak. Please no comments. That's just how the men bees are. This frame, they've started to draw it out, but they've done really weirdly there. You can see they've got these streaks of comb, and they're kind of connecting them to the frame next to it. And then they've done the same thing on this side right here. But they've still got quite a bit of comb here to draw out. So, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this box. That's drawn from last year. That's the one we looked at, I'm sorry. Sorry, we already saw that one. These frames, I can look down in there, they haven't been touched. So, this hive needs a jump start. It needs to get going, because here's some older comb. This one will probably get, that one's looking pretty dark. We'll probably go ahead and get rid of that after this year. After a while, they do have a life expectancy on them. But they haven't filled it at all with anything. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put those combs that are drawn together right in the middle. I'm going to tuck that on there. Whew. Hung them shut. Okay, so the first thing you see, hopefully, is this mess. So this has to all come off. This was where she had laid drone comb between the frames. A standard honeycomb frame that you would get from a supplier, the holes are kind of small for drones, brood. And while they do sell specific drone brood combs that have larger holes, generally the queen just takes care of it by laying the drone brood outside the frames. And I don't bother getting drone frames. I don't know if anybody does. There's extra that you got to deal with, and honestly the queen kind of takes care of it on her own. So I just buy the regular frames and go with that. All right, we're starting to get a little zesty, and someone's trying to sting me right now. See her? There she is. They put the pheromone on your hands, and what happens is that even after they go, the other bees smell that pheromone on your hands and know to attack there. And man, they just start coming out of your hands after a while. and they're just pelting you. Okay, let's see if you can see. Yep. All right, I'm actually gonna, I got an old piece of plywood here that I use just for this purpose. The ground is soaking wet, so I'm gonna kneel down here. I'm in front of the entrance. That's not a great position. Unfortunately, I've got to redo these hive stands because when I did them, I still didn't, there was a lot I didn't know, and there's not to say there isn't still a lot I don't know, but I know some more now than I did, and the way I did this is not great. So as it sits, I'm sitting in front of the hive, pulling the frames, mostly because you're behind the hive. Otherwise, I would stand behind the hive. Anyway, so what do we have here? So we've got a frame here that's some older comb. That's why it's darker. That older brood, excuse me. That means the queen has come through, laid those eggs, but then mixed in that, hopefully you can see, there is some white. That white is where she's come through just recently, laid eggs again, and the workers or the nurse bees haven't covered them up yet. And she lays an egg in there, and they feed them for several days, make sure they're good to go, and got all sorts of good stuff going on. And then they cap them or seal them, and then that's what you're familiar with. And you can see she's done that on the same side. Same thing here. I can't exactly see what you're seeing, so hopefully you can see it. Those cells with the little white in them are uncapped brood, which the worker bees are going to come back, the nurse bees are going to come back and cover up. She's also got some, it looks like there's some nectar mixed in there that will be capped once it's ready, as far as honey, to provide some nutrition for the bees. Pretty standard frame, especially for this time of year where she's getting ramped up. One thing I've noticed with all my hives, they are definitely low on food. They're low on resources, and so we will be having to feed them here. It's supposed to rain for the next 2 days. After that, we're going to have to be getting some food out for them, because all of these hives are doing well with comb or with brood so far, but they don't have a ton of resources. Okay, so here we go. Here's an example. See that? I'm just gonna hold on. That's all brood. That brood, hopefully you see it. Here's the brood. Normally there would be a strip all the way around the center, and you can see they've kind of started it here of nectar, and so you would have the eggs, the brood, then there'd be a strip all the way around, and that would provide the resources for the hive. The other thing I'm seeing a lot of, and again, hopefully you can see this. This is the joys of trying to do it all by yourself. These right here. There's one here, there's one here. Those are queen cells or queen cups. Now right now they're empty, they're no problem, but I have to keep an eye on them. If she starts filling these with eggs, it means she's getting ready to skedaddle and to swarm. These are where these much bigger cups like this, you see they face downward in the hive. This is how the frame sits in the hive. So they would face downward, and that's where she would lay eggs, and the worker bees and the nurse bees would automatically start feeding those eggs royal jelly, as well as whatever else it is that needs to produce a queen. Now they'll lay a bunch of those cups in a hive before they swarm, and whichever one hatches first, that new queen, the old queen, will swarm, take off with a chunk of the hive. And the new queen that's left will go around. Her first order of business is she goes around and rips open every single queen cup that has an egg in it, or a queen that's still surviving, and she kills them, so that there can only be one queen. That's a fact in many species, but there can only be one queen. And so the first one there that hatches out, her first order of business is she'll go around and kill anything else, any other queens or any other potential rivals. This is again, we've got scattered brood. We just don't have a lot of food, so we need to get them some food. They're bringing in a little bit. You can see around the edges there's some nectar. It's got that glistening look, that watery look, but overall they don't have an abundance of resources. And this time of year, when they start exploding, the hives start exploding in population, because the days are getting longer and the queen's like, oh, I'm gonna start laying more eggs, some pollen coming in, and that's when there's still not a lot of nectar, not a lot of resources left over from the previous year. Really, this time of year is when a hive is very, very, very likely to starve and run out of resources just as they're trying to build up. So no queen on here. I haven't seen her, and I don't think I'm going to dig the rest of the way. I know she's in here, but again, look at all that brood. So these eggs are going to hatch out less than 3 weeks. Look at that side. That's the other side. Just tons of brood. And you can see the little watery holes in between. As fast as bees are hatching out, those worker bees, the foraging bees, are coming back and backfilling those little holes with nectar for honey. So I'm going to put this back on, and we're going to move on to the next portion of what I'm doing here. And that is we need to put on mite treatment. So the mite treatment I'm currently using is called Hopguard. Hopguard is better when you have a hive that does not have a ton of brood in it. Now, a ton of brood is a relative thing. This hive has more brood in it than it did even a month ago, by far. But it's got far less brood in it than it will have in another month. So mid-April, end of April, this thing will be absolutely exploding with brood, and it's going to be packed, if everything goes well, of course. And by then, the Hopguard is not as effective. Hopguard is made from, as it sounds like, hops, a concentrated extract from hops that affects the mites directly. It does not do a very good job of penetrating into the brood as, say, oxalic acid does, or formic acid. The problem with Hopguard, that has been kind of its knock, is it is not as effective with a single treatment. So you really have to treat twice with Hopguard. So what I'm going to do instead, because I know a month from now I'm going to have a load of brood, is we're going to put a treatment on of Hopguard. We're going to let that run its course, and then I'm going to follow that up with a treatment of formic acid. I want to really hit these bees hard here in the spring with mites. I lost 4 hives. I truly believe, and I'm sure that at least three of those losses were due to mites. So if I can knock them down here in the spring, then hit them again in the fall once we're around honey collection time, then we should be looking at hopefully a much better survival rate for my bees overall through the winter. So let me go get the treatments, and I will be right back. So here is a treatment stick or strip, it's very sticky, very gummy, very sticky and gummy covers it. And what we do is, it's shaped like a V, and what we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to put, for each hive, it's every 5 frames you want to put one in. So this box has 10 frames, and we want to put 2 strips in. Put them in where there's lots of bee activity, lots of bee traffic. So you can see I'm going to put them in. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah. So we got them here and here. Frames on the outside, frames on the inside, and they track through it and will spread it throughout the hive. Now, you want to do one for each brood box. This box, while it did not have much brood in it, it's got a fair number of bees, and they are certainly traipsing through here. So what I'm going to do for this top box, since it's one for every 5, we've really only got about 3.5 or 4 frames here. I'm going to put one up here. Again, you see that? It's very sticky, very goopy. And when they go through it, then they'll traipse it all around. So we're going to drop it right over this most populous frame right in the middle. And that's done. And we'll leave those on there. I'm ashamed to admit this, but I can't remember what the directions said. I have to look it up again. It's 7 to 14 days. You can look it up under Hopguard 3 is the name of the product, and we're going to leave it on there that amount of time, and then we're going to follow it up with formic acid, and of course we'll do a video for that as well as soon as the time comes. Now the only other thing I got to do, let me go grab something. I'll be right back. Okay, I am using queen excluders. If you don't know, queen excluder basically is a wire mesh that will lay over the brood box, and it keeps the queen from coming up and laying eggs in where the honey is. This one's got a little bit of crusty from last year. That goes right on like that. And that wire mesh is narrow enough that a queen cannot get through it, but a worker bee can. So we put that on there. Now we've got the queen down on the bottom. Oh my goodness, you should see the bees on this side. Look at this. They're all hanging on the side. Let me put them right there at the entrance. There we go. There we go. Put them all at the entrance and let them get warm. Get them inside. And then finally, we're going to put this last box, and this is probably going to be a little close to the camera, but that's the first box we took off. It's got some upper entrances on it, and the bees will be able to access immediately into the honey supers. And that's pretty much it. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to take one glove off here so I can operate the camera. There I am. Yep. Just as gorgeous as ever. That's it. I won't open the hives back up until the time has passed for the Hopguard to have run its course. And like I said, I'm going to immediately follow it up with formic acid, which is another mite treatment, but different. So hopefully if anything has any kind of immunity, or I don't know if they get immunity to this stuff. I don't think it's ever been shown to for bees to get immunity. But if any of them do, they're going to get a different treatment in a few days, or in a week or so. And that's it. Otherwise, the hives are doing well. Everybody's doing well. I had a chicken attack that I lost several chickens yesterday, so a little upset over that, and including my rooster. He and I had a love-hate relationship, which I think a lot of people probably have with their roosters, but we had come to an understanding, and we were pretty good together. And I didn't see what happened. I don't know for sure what happened. I think it might have been an aerial attack, just from the lack of remains or anything like that. And I guess maybe, I don't know whether he got hit or he was killed and taken and eaten trying to protect one of the hens, but I did lose several hens and the rooster. So that's a sad note to end on, but it is unfortunately part of keeping livestock, keeping wildfowl, waterfowl, keeping chickens, fowl, and you just have to live and learn from it. The rest of the girls are now in the run. They're staying in the run right now, and they really don't seem to have much interest in going out. So early spring, birds of prey are hungry, and I think I just learned a very painful lesson, but be that as it may. So anyway, though, the bees are doing great. This is Dave. If you like what you see here, then by all means, please help me out and do a like, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you're aware when I put out future videos. In the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared. I hope you all had a blessed holiday weekend for those who celebrate, and have a good day.